well, Abraham, I've decided that I'm going to leave this relationship. And they want us to agree that it's a good idea. And we say, well, we understand that there are things that are uncomfortable, and that's the reason that you're leaving. But you have to remember, you're going to be taking yourself with you. And who you are inside that relationship is who you still are as you walk away from it. So everything's going to follow you wherever you are, as long as the reason that you're leaving is the most active part within you. And that's the thing that's so tricky about leaving a relationship. They say, well, don't you think I should leave? And we say, yeah, but now you got to get out of town too. And now you got to get off this planet, and now we don't know where to send you, because you will take yourself with you. And so our encouragement is that you try to be who you really want to be before you leave. Because if you can be who you really want to be before you leave, then everywhere you go, everything that you want will be there with you. So the reason that you're feeling afraid, the reason that you feel fearful or lonely for yourself and for your children, is because you're thinking thoughts in justification for the action that you've decided that the source within you is not in alignment with. And we're not talking about the behavior. We're not talking about whether you stay or whether you go. We're talking about the thoughts that you are thinking are not resonance with the thoughts that the source within you thinks about the same subject. And that's what that empty feeling is. That's what that fearful feeling is, you see. So wouldn't it be a novel thing if instead of leaving a relationship, and we're not saying stay, we're not saying go, we just want you to contemplate this for a little bit, all of you, that if instead of leaving a relationship, if instead you said, I think I'm just going to stay here and try to feel how I want to feel and what I'm reaching for. What is it that I'm reaching for? What do I think I'm going to find outside of this relationship that I can't find inside of it? Well, we would think about it a little bit, because whatever it is active within you. That's why you've come to the decision that you have. And you're going to take that vibration with you everywhere you go, so that even though the faces will change and the places may change and the situation may change, a lot will change, how you feel is not going to change that much, you see. Where if you can discover what you're looking for before you leave, you might not even have to leave to find it. In fact, you might not even have to leave to find it. In fact, you might not even have to leave to find it. What you're looking for might be right there where you are. It's just on a different vibrational frequency than is active within you right now. Nothing is more conditional living than relationships. Oh boy. And the conditions that are yanking your chains all day are the conditions that somebody else is doing. And so, to be inside of a relationship and to discover unconditional living, which means I'm responding to the climate that I'm establishing, not responding to what's going on over here. In other words, to be able to say to someone, the way I used to feel about you was totally dependent upon the way you behaved, and now the way I feel about you is totally dependent upon the way I think about you. And I've discovered that the way I think about you doesn't have to have anything to do with you. Which makes me a happy girl. And so what's happened, you see, there isn't anything wrong with your observation. You walk into a relationship and you begin observing it one way, and you've let the way it is train you into your vibration. So because the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted and the bills are paid and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, because you're observing that and 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 observing that, that's the vibration that you've got going on. And so you've let the condition train your climate, and now your climate brings you more of the condition that you do not want. So you say, I think I'm going to take me and my climate somewhere else. And we say, yeah, and you're going to get the same thing everywhere you go. Isn't it nice to be the creator of your own experience? Yes. The elicitor of it, you see, the unconditional lover of it. It is our promise to you that as you hear us here today, and this is a sort of new communication that we're offering. It's just been recently that we've begun telling you all, that the way that what moves from your vortex, which is where everything that you want is, into the realization, into the reality that you want to live, what makes it possible for it to move from that unrealized state into that realized state is your practicing of your point of attraction. And so we've been reaching for words. For a while we called it your grid, because it's an established state of being that we'll fill in with details. But grid sounds too rigid. It's a pliable, fluid, it's a climate, it's an environment, it's something that you create. And if you can hear us when we say to you, you have the ability to create this apart from what you're witnessing. Oh, if you can get that, in other words, that means if you don't have enough money and you can create an atmosphere where you feel prosperous apart from the reality that you're currently living, now your vibration is going to shift and the money will begin flowing in. Now your vibration is going to shift and the intimacy flows in. The shift happens, you see, but it's got to start with you. And so many of you, we get it. You say, hey, I didn't feel like that till he acted like that. He acted like that, and that's why I feel like this, so he needs to act different so I can feel different. And we say, conditional love will get you nowhere. You have to create the vibrational condition that allows you to receive from this person who we promised you has the ability to give you exactly what you want when the shift takes place within you. There are a lot of things that you can observe, and when you observe them, it causes you to offer a vibration that brings you more of them.
Yes.
In other words, there are a lot of people that believe that they are deliberately creating, and a lot of you are. Esther says, I was born into a happy home, and I focused there. No bad stuff ever happened to any of us. We just sort of lived happily ever after. My parents never said a cross word to one another. In other words, it was easy for Esther to be a pliable vortex through which we can communicate, because her vibration was in a good place because she was observing a good life, and her vibration stayed in a good place because she was observing a good life. You see what we're getting at? But deliberate creation is a bit beyond that. Deliberate creation is unconditional loving, which means it's creating of a vibration on purpose. What happens is someone will be in a relationship, it won't be the way they want it, and they'll say, I'm leaving because of this. And then for the rest of their life, they say, I left that because of that. And because you're still telling the story of having left that because of that, then that's what's active in your vibration. And then after a while you say, I have had 10 husbands and not one damn one of them did I have any chemistry with. Or you could live a very conditional life and go out and just look for chemistry, look for chemistry, look for chemistry, and end up with someone who cannot cross any T's or any I's, and you like that too.
I do. So I've
got chemistry, but oh, he's got no money. Stand right where you are and create a climate that is conducive to what you want, and feel the mastery of your ability to create. And we know you're stubborn, you all are to a certain extent. You want to say, this is what's going on. And we say, we know, and you've got to change. Why does it always have to be me that makes the vibrational adjustment? Why can't some condition adjust so I can just observe it and feel better? And we say, because that is limited creating. And as sure as anything, you'll fall in the trap with the masses that say, we've got to control these conditions, otherwise we can't be happy. And that's just not true. I'm going to stop demanding of good things coming to me by pointing out to the people who should have been letting it come that they're not letting it come. And I'm going to start taking complete responsibility about what comes to me. I'm going to choke on the words, it's your fault in my mind. It's not somebody else's fault. You came to live exactly the life that you intended to live because you wanted to get your feet wet. You wanted to get your sea legs. You wanted to experience life. You wanted desire to be very strong within you because you knew if there was strong desire within you, that just a little crack of not much resistance would allow that desire to manifest. And what you were describing just now is someone who has strong desire and strong resistance. That's a really strong tug of war that's going on. But then when you let down for a little bit and you don't have the resistance so active within you, then that desire summons in a really strong way. And it's too much. It's more than you can stand because you haven't been practicing it, you see. You've been practicing letting it in and not letting it in and letting it in and not letting it in. Now you want to just start easier, sort of at the beginning, by getting up in the morning and looking for things that feel good and focusing upon those, and then watch the evidence that the universe brings to you. And little by little, you will convince yourself of your worthiness, because you will set aside the resistance that has been keeping the revelation or the realization of the things that you want from you. And for you, we'll say it powerfully to you, a lot of you, but we're saying it powerfully to you. You turn so much of the blame toward yourself, but you turn it toward others too. And that blame that you practice is the piece that trips you up the most, whether it's pointed at somebody else or at yourself. It is the most logical thing in the world for you to feel this blame, because with every fiber of your being, you know you're supposed to feel good. And when you don't, you're just freaking out over it. And that's what we meant when we said your guidance system is with you. You can't not figure this out. You know it's supposed to feel better than this, and when it doesn't, you know that something is wrong. It's just not that you're wrong. You're not wrong. You just got to lighten up a little bit. When you find yourself blaming someone about something, laugh and say, I'd like to give you credit for how bad things are going for me. And I'm used to blaming other people. I blame myself a lot too. But actually, I realized I've been practicing this vibration, and the law of attraction brings this stuff to me. And then it comes, and I don't like it when I see it. And so I don't want bad things to happen to me, and I don't want the good stuff to be held away. And I've just got this pattern of thought, and I'm getting over it. I'm not doing it as much as I used to do, and it's getting better and better, and good things are happening to me on occasion more frequently, and things are getting better and better for me. And I know that I am the creator of my own reality, and I know that I can tell by the way I feel how well I'm doing, and I'm doing better at starting it earlier in the day so that I can feel when I go astray, and things are just getting better and better for me. And I'm in partnership with source energy. How much better than that can it get for me? I'm in partnership with source energy. You could not be more worthy, you see. And we can't shout it loud enough for you to hear it. But we've worn you down, we can feel. We've worn you down. Your resistance is much softer than it was. We've convinced you just a little bit, haven't we? You've got it. You know what to do. Just be easy about it. Yeah. So, do you know you create your own reality? Do you know that it's a vibrational universe? Do you know that things are always working out for you, and the evidence of them working out for you is happening in this moment to the degree that you are soft and compliant and allowing it? And that you're the one that builds the shell around you and makes it a rougher ride than it needs to, but you could soften that shell and it would be a less rough ride. Do you get that? And that what is happening to you has nothing to do with anyone else on the planet, except that you're reacting to the way they're reacting to you and messing up what you're doing with your vibrational reality, that with your vibrational environment. Esther's been trying to find the perfect word because she can feel us meaning it. So she wants to say it's a climate, or it's an environment. It's a state of being. It's the vibrational beingness that you want to work on. And if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would work on it in these ways. We would go to places that feel good as often as we could. And we would acknowledge that it feels good, and we would try to identify what is it about this place that feels so good. In other words, we would not try to solve issues, and we would not get into debates with people who are trying to solve issues, and we would not talk about problems of others with them, and we would not talk about our own problems with anyone else. We would spend our time looking for that central place that feels good, even if it's something as central and basic as the sun came up this morning and that helped me. And the food keeps growing, and that helps all of us. And the world keeps turning because it is right that it does. And babies keep being born because this is the leading edge of creation. And source keeps flowing because nothing other than that is natural. And well-being abounds no matter how hard you try to find dark corners of the world, they are small and puny in comparison with the brilliance and the beauty of the world. The well-being is dominant, no matter